Good morning, everyone. I extend a warm welcome to all at Day 4 second slot short-term training program. Myself, Dr. Nilesh Karande, and I find immense pleasure in introducing our today's speaker, Mr. Abhijit Evalesar from VMeduLife Private Limited. He is presently working in VMeduLife Software Services, Pune. In the past, he worked as a formulation scientist in Sun Pharma Research Center, Baroda. He did MS from National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Ahmedabad. He did postgraduate diploma in patent law from National Academy of Legal Studies and Research, University, Hyderabad. And he did bachelor's degree from MIT, Pune. Now I request Mr. Abhijit sir to deliver his valuable talk on outcome-based education and effective use of ICT tools.
Okay, fine. So, thank you so much for the nice introduction and for today's session. Okay, so we will start with the session, and the topic will be regarding this OBE, outcome based education. So for the time being now, I will be muting all the participants. So if they have any query or anything, so we can use the chat box for the question answer, or else at the end of the session, we may open the what we can say the session for the final question and answers. Okay, fine. Okay, so I will be sharing screen now. Just allow me a moment. Okay, fine. So the today's session we will be focusing and discussing about the various aspects of this OBE. Probably might be some of the participants, they might have attended the webinar which was organized by our company from VMeduLife, like in last 3-4 months. Okay, so today we will be discussing about what type of aspects are there which we need to consider, which we need to focus, especially for this accreditation. काफी सारे जगह पे in lot many organizations now they are planning for, they are doing the documentation for this NAC as well as for NBA, and no doubt the concepts of this OBE are carrying a lot many significance as far as this both accreditation bodies are considered. So we need to like prepare our documentation in what we can say in aligning with the concepts of this OBE, as well as it is now necessary, it is compulsory what we can say to implement the methodologies and what we can say the various strategies which are mentioned in the we can say the overall structure of this outcome based education. You might have attended many of the webinars regarding this also, and today also we will be discussing about the same aspects, but yes, how we can effectively use the various digital tools or the ICT tools. हा एक शब्द आता खूप वेळा म्हणजे रिपीट झाला असेल, स्पेशली या लॉकडाऊन मध्ये. आयसीटी एक्झॅक्टली आयसीटीचा प्रॉपर यूज कसा करायचा आहे, that we need to focus, that we need to document, and the same aspects we will be discussing in the today's presentation. Fine. To begin with, exact terminology regarding this outcome based education. So many of the documents are available regarding this. But just to summarize in like few words or in two or three statements, what we can say, this is exactly the education which is focusing for the outcome. In short, here product is defining our processes. How the product is defining processes? See, if we will compare the traditional approach for our, we can say the academics, and the approaches which are suggested or mentioned under the OBE, and if we will compare both of them with one small case study, for example, if we will consider the traditional approach, here what we used to do, so we used to like deliver the regular academics, the teaching processes are there throughout the semester, and what we can say the examinations based on that particular teaching or syllabus which is there, fine, and the results are there, and then we used to map the like the outcome with the processes. Now here, if you will consider this OBE, first of all we have to target that what exactly will be my outcome whenever I will finish with my semester or academics or the academic year. So we are not like what we can say analyzing after the declaration of the result, but here we are expecting the result at the start of the academics only. Let's say for example, I'm delivering the subject or the course called as this pharmaceutics. There are 60 students in my class, so my expectations are there that out of 60, at least 80% students will be above distinction. This is like what the expectation or the outcome I'm expecting whenever I will finish with the teaching for the course called as this pharmaceutics. And then in alignment with this particular target, we will be modifying, restructuring the overall teaching learning processes which are there throughout the semester. See, फक्त नॅक एनबीए करायचं आहे म्हणून आपल्याला ते काहीतरी ओबी नावाच्या कन्सेप्ट लॉन्च करायचे असतील. सी, ज्या प्रकारे ISO सर्टिफिकेशन मिळतं, ISO certification recently ek I went through some like documents 2 to 3 days ago. So it was like surprising. There are certain companies in the market की ज्या 2000 रुपयामध्ये ISO certification देतात. And there are certain organizations that त्याच्यासाठी lakhs of rupees charge करतात. Now it is the decision of the particular organization who is going for ISO, that whether we have to get it done in 2000 rupees or whether we have to follow the actual processes which are there, which are required as per as this ISO certification is considered. What will be the benefit if we will follow the actual processes which are there? Then starting from the overall aspects of and the requirements of ISO, those will be deeply rooted, deeply implemented in my organization. And if you will go for that short term target, then there will not be any outcome. Similarly, whenever here we are like discussing about this outcome based education, नॅक एनबीए करायचं आहे म्हणून त्याला कसं तरी आपण सीओपीओ चे थोडेसे कॅल्क्युलेशन करून फिनिश करून टाकू. दॅट विल बी द शॉर्ट टर्म टार्गेट. इफ यू आर रिअली विलिंग टू एनहान्स दी ओव्हरऑल क्वालिटी in our academics, both from the students point of view and the instructor point of view, then this particular methodology should be seriously implemented in our campus. This is what the basic requirement, and this is how the concepts of the OB are there, and which are released and which are given by the various regulatory bodies. Fine. Now we will move ahead. This is what like the overall crux of this outcome based education. It is the opposite of input based education, where the emphasis is on the teaching and the system is happy to accept whatever is the result. It doesn't mean that in case of OB implementation, we are not focusing on teaching learning and we are only focusing on result. No, but first of all, we are deciding, we are setting certain values for our outcome. And to achieve that particular target, then we will be redefining, redesigning our overall teaching learning processes, the methodologies of conducting the examinations, the methodologies for designing of the question paper. Starting from designing of the question paper, here we have to, what we can say, we need to bring the changes in the overall processes. Then that target of implementation, successful implementation of the OBE, and finally the attainment of the COs, POs, PSOs, everything will be happening in well defined and structured manner. Fine. Okay, moving ahead, we will move ahead now. So चलो मान लिया कि that we have implemented this OB particular, what we can say, the methodologies at institute level. What will be the advantages? The advantages will be clarity in the curriculum, as well as clarity and facilitation in the curriculum evaluation. There will be guidance for assessment, and certainly there will be a provision of a framework once we will start the implementation of the OBE methodologies in our organization. Fine. Moving ahead. What exactly are the different levels for this outcome? Many of the times, these words come across in our academics, that program education objective, program outcome, program specific outcomes, and the course outcome. If we will look at these all the four terms which are there on the slide, the every individual term carries some significance. If it is program education objective, that is the statement of the PEO, I think 90% of the colleges have these statements with them, because it might be a part of the requirement किंवा ज्यांनी accreditation ला सुरुवात केली असेल, for those it is necessary to have the statements should be displayed on the board or on the website or any other medias. If I will consider this PEO, program education objective, certainly these are the statements which our stakeholders or the students, they should be able to achieve it within 3 to 4 years of their graduation. For example, if I'm graduating from my B Pharmacy program in the academic year 2020, then I should be able to achieve the statements of the PEO till 2023-24. These are what the statements of the program education objective. These are the terminologies where our objectives will be shared with our different stakeholders regarding this PEO. If I will consider PO, program outcome, now here, these are the outcomes which are specifying our program. Like it might be a pharmacy, in that B pharmacy, D pharmacy, diploma, masters, doctorate, etc., etc. So these are the program outcomes which the student should be able to achieve at the end of their graduation. There are 11 POs for B pharmacy program which are given by the accreditation body. There are 9 POs of the D pharmacy diploma in pharmacy program which are given by the accreditation body. Expectation is that at the end of the graduation, a student should be able to achieve these statements of the POs. This is what is required, and this is what we can say bottom line for this overall outcome based education. Moving ahead, PSO. In case of pharmacy, PSOs will matter for postgraduate program. Like as of now, for degree, more or less we need to follow the POs, but for PG, we have a different programs, like for example, Department of Pharmaceutics, Department of Quality Assurance, Chemistry, Ecology, Natural Product or Cognosy, Analysis, etc., etc. So in that case, the statements of the PSOs will matter, because POs are like defining the overall structure of a program, and PSOs the specific programs. In case of engineering, it is very crystal clear for a definition. Like they have a department of civil engineering, mechanical engineering, IT, computer, triple E, electronics, instrumentation, etc., etc. So for them, every program will carry certain specific outcome. That is the reason it is called as a program specific outcome. So those might be two or three number, and POs, these are already defined by the accreditation body. For pharmacy, 9 for diploma, 11 for the bachelor's. Still for PG, as of now, no as such concrete SAR are available. So, but for yes, sure, degree and diploma, these statements are there. For POs, PSOs, we need to define and design at program level. Okay. And in case of CO, last but not least, defining the specificity of the individual outcome of the courses or the subjects which we have in our curriculum. So that is what regarding this course outcome. Fine. So these are the four structures, four major pillars we can say for our OB part in any of the organization. To summarize, those are PEO, PO, PSO, and CO. Fine. Moving ahead. The next thing, this is what is the framework for this outcome-based education. The journey will start from vision statement of my institute, moving to the mission. Okay, vision is the broader statement, and mission is like the goals which we are setting to achieve the statement of the target of the vision. So vision will be always broader, and to indicate the vision, the statement of the mission is there, which is defining the goals or the steps which we are going to adapt or implement for the achievement of the statement of the vision. Vision and mission might be, can be of department wise also. Again, it is like specific for engineering. For pharmacy, like we can say for degree, the vision and mission will be at program level. Okay, then the PO statements are there, program education objective. Okay, and in this program education objective, again will be decided at institute level. The statements of the POs will be there from the board of accreditation, as well as program specific outcome we need to define at departmental level or the program level. Fine. Now this is done. Then there will be a curriculum, that is the syllabus. In that we will be having many of the components, and finally there will be a component of the courses, and courses will be followed by this course outcome. In this way, the journey will be there from vision of the institute till it will be driven to the statements of the COs, that is the course outcomes, which are decided at course level. This is how this overall structure will be there, and this is how is the exact framework of this outcome based education. Fine. Okay, moving ahead. So like some of the components which are there in the ICT tools, like the program curriculum, teaching learning process, student performance, faculty information and contribution, continuous improvement. Then it will be followed by the first year academics. Okay, student support system, and the e-governance part. That's fine. Okay. Now, moving ahead, if you will consider what are the exact parameters for the outcome. So to define the parameters for the outcome, those are the vision, mission, the statements of the POs, PSOs, as well as competencies and the performance indicator. These are some of the statements, and these are some of the parameters as far as this outcome is considered. Okay, fine. Moving ahead, just allow me a moment. Okay, if you will consider now to be specific regarding the program curriculum, so what exactly the methodologies we have to follow? Those are the COs, course outcomes, then the target mapping of the COs with the POs and PSOs, learning outcomes, then there are the units followed by the students as a learner. Then we need to link these COs with every lecture, linking of these learning outcomes with every session, unit by syllabus completion, and overall syllabus completion. This is how we can say we can split this overall OBE and the program curriculum as far as the target of this attainment of the COs and POs is considered. Moving ahead. what exactly, if we will consider this overall teaching learning process. So in that, initially we need to prepare the teaching plan, the academic planning, followed by the sharing of the details with the students, tracking of the learners, followed by the differential assignments, examinations, their result analysis, identification of the slow learners, advanced learners, followed by recording of observations, analysis of the data. Then it will be followed by this outcome attainment, gap analysis, and filling of gaps. This is how usually we need to follow and we need to prepare our overall teaching learning process for any course, for any subject in that academic year. Fine. Now moving ahead. Okay. Yes, this is the what we can say important slide as far as this quality of internal semester question papers, assignments, and evaluation is considered. Okay. Now see, as far as the B pharmacy program is considered, so we usually have these sessional examinations, right? So it might be a sessional examination one, okay? It might be this sessional examination two, which we are conducting for our student. While conducting these examinations, there should be certain parameters we should be followed for designing of these question papers. What type of parameters we need to follow? So starting from this involvement of the COs, that is the course outcomes, assigning of the Bloom's level, assigning of the program outcomes, performance indicators, competency levels, followed by the question wise analysis, and followed by the outcome attainment. Usually what happens based on the observation of many of the organization. So if we will consider that these calculations of the outcome attainment, so while designing of the question paper, usually we are not taking care of these aspects. It is necessary whenever we are like conducting any exam. It might be regular internal exam, it might be any assignment, or might be some other evaluation parameter. It is necessary that every question which is there in our question paper, while designing the question paper itself, it should be mapped with the relevant CO. And it's a request, like it should not be a manual approach. You might go for any of the software, but that software will provide you a proper documentation which will assist you whenever you will submit the files for the preparation of the self assessment report which is there for NBA, or the self study reports which are there for NAC. So SAR and SSR, both NAC and NBA, this is the important parameter that how we are defining and designing the internal question papers. So here, as it is mentioned on the slide, starting from this assigning of the course outcomes, assigning of the Bloom's level, assigning of the program outcomes, competency and PI. All these factors should be necessarily involved in our question paper. Fine. Moving ahead. The next parameter which we are going to discuss over here is regarding these rubrics. Some of the colleges, especially those who have already completed one cycle, first cycle of NAC or NBA, and some of the engineering colleges, they are following these concepts of the rubrics, which is actually required. You know, rubrics, if like we have to compare the evaluation through rubrics and a general evaluation. Let's say, for example, मी एक सेशनल एक्झामिनेशनचा क्वेश्चन पेपर कंडक्ट केला जो 30 मार्कांचा होता. मैंने एक सेशनल एग्जामिनेशन का क्वेश्चन पेपर लिया जिसको टोटल 30 मार्क्स थे. तो उसका अगर मुझे किसी कैंडिडेट का इवैल्यूएशन करना हो, इट्स वेरी इजी. व्हाई इट इज इजी? बिकॉज देयर माइट बी सम 15-20 क्वेश्चंस, and based on the answers written by the student, I will be giving them marks from my side. But now, if I am conducting a evaluation for a seminar which is delivered by any candidate, it is not at that much straightforward as a evaluation of any answer sheet which is written by the student, because in case of seminar we have to evaluate the various parameters, like how is the like body language, how are the presentation skills, how the content is being delivered, how the content is being analyzed, the time taken for the delivery of that overall duration, etc., etc. So for such more or less qualitative type of evaluation, we should go for the aspects of the rubrics which are there. Very few places this is being followed, but it is required, and this will be added advantage as far as this accreditation is considered. By rest of the things, I think it is not required, but yes, it is required only for accreditation. If you are planning to go for it is required, that is for sure. So in these rubrics, the various parameters which are important are the criterias, the descriptors, and the levels of the performance. So सेमिनार अगर आपको इवैल्यूएट करना है, सो आपके पास इवैल्यूएशन के पैरामीटर्स होने चाहिए. कौन से पैरामीटर्स हो सकते हैं इवैल्यूएशन के? जैसे मैंने आपको बताया बॉडी लैंग्वेज, जैसे मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया कि प्रेजेंटेशन स्किल्स, the how the content is being organized in the presentation. So these might be evaluation parameters, and there should be some evaluation levels. So evaluation levels, like if the body language is like as required or as expected, so it might be like very good. If the body language is like very like not up to the mark, it might be poor, or we can say at a good level. Okay, so this is how the two things, the first one evaluation parameter and another one evaluation levels. Parameters will be the parameters and levels will be used for analyzing the parameters. These are the two things which will constitute my rubrics. Okay, fine. I think someone is asking for feedback link, so we might, I think we need to wait for some few minutes, then the feedback link can be shared. Okay, fine, no issue. So, okay, components. After that, application of the rubrics. So the different applications where the rubrics can be applied, like the course projects. Nowadays, this Swayam, like MOOCs courses, massive online open courses, co-curricular experiments, mini and minor projects, internships, e-portfolios of the student. These all places, these rubrics can be applied. Okay. This is how the analysis, if you are using any software, that can be made available easily within a click. You can feed the data and you can avail the different reports which are there under the rubrics. Moving ahead. Now we will discuss something about these courses and the course outcome. As per the observation, like many of the colleges, those who have finished with the first cycle, second cycle of their NAC or MBA, so the common question which is being asked by the auditor, that how the statements of the COs are defined and designed. And here the institute or the coordinators, they have to submit some documents, like on what basis the statements of the COs are defined. There are some misunderstandings. The common questions which are there from many of the organizations are like, we have a PCI syllabus, we follow Pharmacy Council of India, then why every institute they have to design separate statements of the CO? See, first of all, the NAC accreditation, NB accreditation, universities, AICT, Pharmacy Council of India, these all are different bodies. With regards to accreditation, so like at some places, some universities are giving the statements of the COs. Now, it is up to the organization that whether they should follow the statements of the COs which are already designed by university, or they have to design the statements of a CO at their organization level. But yes, for sure, accreditation bodies will not mandate you that you should take the COs which are given by universities only. Absolutely not. It is nowhere written in any of the document like this. Everything is subjected to justification, a valid justification. Fine. Now, what are the course outcomes? So these are the outcomes what the student should be able to do at the end of a course. These are what the course outcomes. Okay, a simple definition of the CO. And if you will consider then the COs might be from the compulsory courses which are tagged as the core courses, or might be from electives depending on the nature of the subject which we have. Fine. Okay, now here is the main slide, what we can say. So if we are defining the structure of the statement of the course outcome, there are four parameters: action, knowledge, condition, and criteria. If I will consider action, so action represents a cognitive, affective, psychomotor activity the learner should perform. Action is indicated by an action verb, might be to, representing the concerned cognitive process. We all are very much aware regarding this Bloom's level. You know that Bloom's psychomotor, cognitive, and affective, three different domains are there. If I will consider these psychomotor type of domain or affective type of domain, so as far as affective, it is more or less related to the feelings and emotions. And psychomotor, these are being related with the physical activities like sports. As far as academics is considered, we are usually following the cognitive type of domain. And in that cognitive, the different levels are there: remember, understand, create, evaluate, etc. etc. The requirement is that what we are discussing here, we are discussing CO का statement कैसे डिजाइन होना चाहिए, and उस CO के statement में there should be involvement of this action verb. It is necessary. Many of the times it is ignored, simply ignored. It should be verified that whether my action, my statement of the CO is consisting of any of the verb, any of the level from this cognitive domain. Followed by, if we will consider, the next thing is regarding these knowledge categories, followed by the conditions, and the last one is regarding criteria. In case of knowledge, it represents the specific knowledge from any one or more of the 8 knowledge categories. Those are there: conditions and the criteria. See, simple. These are the four things which we need to consider, which we need to take care while designing the structure of the statement of the course outcome. Fine. Moving ahead. One more thing, you can like easily ask the question yourself. जो भी हम लोग कोर्स आउटकम के स्टेटमेंट्स डिफाइन करते हो, जो भी लोग एक्रेडिटेशन के लिए अभी जाने वाले हैं, जिनका हो चुका है, where is the involvement of this statement of the CEO? Most of the time the answer will be 80% they are coming into the picture only at the time of examinations. जब भी हमारे सेशनल के एग्जामिनेशंस होते हैं, इंटरनल एग्जामिनेशंस रहते हैं, यूनिवर्सिटी के एग्जाम्स रहते हैं, at that time only those are coming into the picture. That's it. It's not like that. The COs, you know, like आज जो भी हम लोग क्लासरूम में लेक्चर डिलीवर करने वाले हैं, that delivering that particular content, अगर आपने फॉर एग्जाम्पल मान लीजिए कि ग्लाइकोसाइड्स को आपने क्लास में आज पढ़ाया, तो ग्लाइकोसाइड्स को पढ़ाने के बाद कौन से कोर्स आउटकम उसमें से स्टूडेंट्स के कवर हो रहे हैं, दैट वी नीड टू ड्राफ्ट ओवर हियर. इट इज रिक्वायर्ड. यस, इट इज रिक्वायर्ड. कोर्स आउटकम के साथ इनजस्टिस काफी जगह पे होता है, वो नहीं होना चाहिए. सेकंड थिंग, आपके कोर्स आउटकम जो स्टेटमेंट्स है वो कौन कौन से कॉग्निटिव लेवल्स को मैप करते हैं, दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, दैट वी नीड टू ड्राफ्ट एंड डॉक्यूमेंट। नॉलेज कैटेगरीज कौन सी इन्वॉल्व हो रही है, कौन से पीयूज एंड पीएसओज आ रहे हैं। सी, ये अगर सब कुछ हमारा डॉक्यूमेंटेशन होता है तो कोई भी कमिटी हमें वहां पे मतलब क्रॉस क्वेश्चन तो करेगी, but we will be having a justification that yes, we have these documents with us which are supporting the statements of our course outcome. So this will be a preparation for our documentation, and it is required, called as the tagging of the course outcome. अगर आपको कभी टाइम मिले, you must refer the documentation released by Indian Institute of Sciences Bangalore for the preparation of this accreditation. There are almost 8 to 10 modules which will explain that how this COPO mapping and the effective methodology should be implemented at organization level. It's very nice documentation. You may refer it. Fine. Okay. Moving ahead. Yes. अभी यहाँ पे हमारा पार्ट आता है कि जो भी हमारे मतलब कोर्स आउटकम्स जो रहते हैं उसका अटेनमेंट कैलकुलेट कैसे करें, काफी कंफ्यूजन्स है। यू नो लाइक स्पेशली फॉर नैक एंड एनबीए, दिस आर द बॉडीज जिन्होंने गाइडलाइंस को मतलब पब्लिश किया हुआ है, बट ऐसा हमें माइक्रो लेवल पे कभी मिलेगा नहीं कि एग्जैक्टली डायरेक्ट अटेनमेंट इसी तरह से करना चाहिए, इनडायरेक्ट अटेनमेंट इसी तरह से करना चाहिए, ऐसा हमें कहीं नहीं मिलेगा, एटलीस्ट फ्रॉम द ऑफिशियल बॉडीज। यस, बट दे हैव गिवन सम गाइडलाइंस कि जो गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो करके हमें हमारा डॉक्यूमेंटेशन प्रिपेयर करना है। अभी यहाँ पे एक थोड़ा कंफ्लिक्ट वाला स्टेटमेंट रहेगा। PCI is asking 25% weightage should be given for internal examination and 75% weightage should be given for university examination. तो जब भी आप आउटकम अटेनमेंट के कैलकुलेशंस करोगे या आपने किए होंगे, at that time you might have considered the same weightage, 25% for like institute level exam and 75% for university exam. Now here you may consider 50% weightage for internal exam and 50% weightage for university exam. Yes, it is allowed. It is allowed for accreditation, for submission of self-assessment report, self-study report to accreditation. Not, we are not discussing about universities. We are discussing here about accreditation. You may take 50% also and 50% for university exam, subjected to justification. So here, how the calculations are being made. So if I will consider, there are two types of attainment. So by like two, we can say two steps for attainment calculation, the direct attainment and indirect attainment. The direct attainment will be consisting of our all types of examinations. For CIE stands for continuous internal evaluation and SEE stands for semester end examination. As far as CIEs are considered, so like as far as our nation is considered, so 75 to 80% colleges are in affiliated mode only, like more or less they are affiliated with certain university. Some 15-20% might be in the category of autonomy or less than that also. I'm not sure about the facts and figures, but yes, few colleges are there in the autonomy status and most of the colleges are there in the affiliated category. What is the major difference in case of autonomy and affiliated as far as this accreditation and this particular criteria is considered? अगर हम लोग ऑटोनॉमी के स्टेटस में आते हैं, so we will be having access to the answer sheets of the semester end examination. एंड वही अगर हमारा एफिलेटेड रहता है, मान लीजिए कि नागपुर यूनिवर्सिटी हो गई, पुणे यूनिवर्सिटी हो गई, तो यहाँ पे जो यूनिवर्सिटी के एग्जाम्स होते हैं, so usually we don't have the access to the answer sheets of these university examination. The problem is that we won't be able to perform that question wise analysis in case of university exam. And the injustice is like that they are carrying the sound weightage almost 75%, three times as compared to internal, and still we don't have the option for question wise analysis. In fact, that should be there, but in that case we, and it is like justified across the nation because this is a common problem everyone is facing. So in that case, we will go for this calculation of the COPU attainment based on the final score. Fine. And in case of this internal examination, institute level examination, आपका सेशनल 1 हो गया, सेशनल 2 हो गया. Every time you will be performing that question wise analysis. Now see, last के 10-15 minutes I will also go through this everything how it will be happening through software, but as of now I need to focus on the theory part. काफी जगह पे ऐसा देखा है जो सेशनल एग्जाम्स होते हैं, 30 मार्क का तो हमने पीसीआई ने फिक्स करके दिया है, तो 30 ही मार्क के एग्जाम्स होते हैं. बल्कि हम लोग उसको 50 में से कन्वर्ट करते हैं 15, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट पार्ट. बट 30 मार्क्स का जो पेपर होता है, तो उसका रिजल्ट एनालिसिस आज भी अगर देखेंगे तो 75% कॉलेजेस ऐसे हैं कि जो रिजल्ट एनालिसिस का अभी भी क्राइटेरिया रहते हैं कि अबाव 60%, अबाव 70%, अबाव 50%, फर्स्ट क्लास डिस्टिंक्शन एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. ओनली 10-20% जगह पे ऐसा है कि क्वेश्चन वाइज एनालिसिस को फोकस किया जाता है. व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज दिस क्वेश्चन वाइज एनालिसिस? मान लीजिए कि मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन है 10 मार्क का, उसमें से 5 क्वेश्चन है, तो हमें जब एनालिसिस करना है तो जो भी 60-100 स्टूडेंट्स रहेंगे, हर एक स्टूडेंट को हर एक क्वेश्चन में कितने मार्क्स मिले एंड हर एक क्वेश्चन को कौन से कोर्स आउटकम लिंक थे, इस तरह से हमें उसका एनालिसिस करना चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट एक्सपेक्टेड फॉर accreditation. This is not expected for any other body, inspection body, but for accreditation, yes, it is compulsory. अरे अगर वो नहीं करेंगे तो आउटकम अटेनमेंट कैसे कैलकुलेट होगा? काफी जगह पे ये भी देखा है कि थोड़े से बाईपास ले लेते हैं, based on the final score they will calculate, but it is not recommended, and that's not the genuine method for calculation of this attainment of the CO. चलो मान लीजिए कि उसके ऊपर हमारा एक्रेडिटेशन हो भी जाता है, बट that is not the recommended way. So recommended way is, अगर जितने भी क्वेश्चंस है हर एक क्वेश्चन को हमने सीओ को लिंक करना चाहिए, एंड सीओ को लिंक करने के बाद उसका जो भी है अटेनमेंट कैलकुलेशन वो हमारे पास अवेलेबल होना चाहिए. दिस इज हाउ द स्टैंडर्ड मेथड शुड बी फॉलोड एंड वी शुड फॉलो इट. अगर हमारा टारगेट ओबी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लेवल पे तो यस. अगर हम लोग इस ग्राफ को यहाँ पे स्टडी करेंगे, सो जैसे यहाँ पे सी आई ई, जस्ट अलाउ मी, ओके, CIE, continuous internal evaluation, tier 1, tier 2. So this tier 1 stands for the affiliated type of colleges, and sorry, tier 1 stands for the autonomous and tier 2 stands for the affiliated type of colleges. And here both the cases this question wise analysis is possible as far as the semester end examinations are there. So tier 1, which is the autonomous, yes, we can go ahead for this question wise analysis. And tier 2, which are affiliated, यहाँ पे हमें क्वेश्चन आंसर शीट्स का एक्सेस नहीं रहेगा, तो जो भी मार्क्स मिले हैं based on that like average score, we need to calculate this outcome attainment. It's very simple. See, theoretical part is theoretical part and calculations are very straight away. So this is how the things will be happening. And indirect attainment of the CO, so here this is based on the surveys which are there, and through those surveys we will be able to calculate this indirect attainment of the CO, right? Fine. Okay. And here this is what the we can say these are what the steps attainment of the CO, their designing of question papers along with the course outcome linking. After that, question wise analysis, deciding of threshold values, deciding targets attainment values for CO, CO wise attainment, student wise course outcome attainment, course outcome attainment for individual examination, and attainment for semester end examination. This is how the cycle should be. See, कैसे होता है कि आज आप नैक के लिए अप्लाई करने वाले हो, कल एनबीए के लिए करोगे, या कुछ शायद अभी एआईसीटी का एफिलिएशन कंपलसरी नहीं है फार्मेसी कॉलेजेस के लिए, सो सम माइट नॉट गो फॉर एनबीए, दे विल ओनली गो फॉर नैक. It is the decision of individual organization, but yes, as far as quality improvement is considered, both the accreditations are very useful. Okay, नैक ही कंसिडर करेंगे जहां पे हमें लास्ट 5 academic years का डेटा कंपाइल करना पड़ता है, एंड एनबीए के लिए मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम इट इज 3 to 4 academic years फॉर सम स्पेसिफिक क्राइटेरियाज. अगर हमारा एक एग्जाम आज हो रहा है, अगर उसी एग्जाम का अगर हम लोग डॉक्यूमेंटेशन आज ही फिनिश कर देंगे या कल करेंगे या उस महीने में फिनिश कर देंगे, then whenever you will face for this accreditation board, it is absolutely not required to again compile and again document these backdated documents. It's very simple. So this is the thing which is required for this overall OB implementation, that if you will finish the activity on timely manner, it will not be an extra workload or it will not be a duplication of the work also for our day-to-day activities. That's fine. That's perfect. Moving ahead. Yes. जो अभी हमने डिस्कस किया रिगार्डिंग दीज ब्लूम्स टैक्सोनॉमीज, सो यहाँ पे जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया, देर आर 3 डोमेन्स, दिस कॉग्निटिव डोमेन, अफेक्टिव डोमेन and psychomotor domain. Okay, and here if we will consider this cognitive domain, so there are certain levels called as this: remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Okay, so these are what we need to consider. As far as our academics is considered, we are only like what we can say considering the cognitive domain and not the affective and psychomotor. This Bloom's taxonomy is the revised one. Why it is revised one? Because now there is a involvement of these knowledge categories also, which are factual, conceptual, procedural, and metacognitive. Bloom's taxonomy is originally this Anderson Bloom's taxonomy, okay, which is now revised. And for accreditation, we should consider these knowledge categories also. This is how this overall ज्याला बऱ्याच ठिकाणी बीटी म्हणतात, बीटी लेवल, ब्लूम्स टॅक्सॉनॉमी लेवल. सो या ब्लूम्स लेवल आहे. फाईन. ओके, नाउ सी, जे आपण आता डिस्कस केलं बिफोर सम फ्यू मिनिट्स, that while designing the question paper, your software should provide you the facility for auto selection of this Bloom's taxonomy, because ultimately it is based on the verbs only. Every Bloom's level, they have certain categories of the verbs like remember, define, duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, understand, classify, describe, discuss, explain, identify, apply, analyze, evaluate, create, likewise. Okay, fine. Every question should be linked with course outcome. Yes, necessary. So this is how we can select the course outcomes, and every question should be linked with the CO. It is compulsory. And now here we are on the very important slide, especially for those who are planning to go for this NBA. It is compulsory, what we can say for NBA now, because see, NBA and AICT, these are running hand in hand. Although like these are the different bodies on paper, but majority of the criterias or the parameters will be aligning with each other. So competencies and performance indicator, program outcome. Earlier what was happening, हमारे पास फार्मेसी नॉलेज करके एक प्रोग्राम आउटकम है, एंड उसका मैपिंग डायरेक्टली इट वाज डन विद द small statement of the course outcome. Why I'm saying it is small? Because PO is at program level, which is very broader, and course outcome is at a small subject level. So mapping of CO was directly happening with the PO. And now here there is inclusion of the concepts called as this competency and performance indicator. If we will study the definitions, these competencies are the integral parts of the POs, and these indicators are the integral parts of this competency. And this is how these both are linked with each other. And then while conducting these various examinations, assessments, quiz, seminars, these performance indicators should be the evaluation parameters. नहीं होता है, काफी कम जगह पे इसको लुकआउट किया जाता है, but this should be considered now. This should be considered now because it will be asked during inspection that whether and what type of competencies and PIs we have involved in our documentation. Okay, so like like this, our question should be linked with the PI, that is these performance indicators that is required, as well as this is how the report should be generated for my quality of question paper based on the Bloom's level. This is based on the Bloom's level. Okay, and if I will, like we can look out here that we have the different levels of Bloom's, like this: create, evaluate, analyze, apply, understand, and based on that this will be calculated. Okay, marks distribution as per CO, and this is the question wise analysis will be available. Course outcome attainment for internal assessment, this is how the results will be calculated, and course outcome attainment for semester end examinations. This is how the results will be, calculations will be available. It's very easy. And then this is the attainment of the POs and PSOs. We will also discuss how the calculations are happening. So I will just go through the software for 10 minutes, and probably 12:15, 12:20 we will open for question and answer so that we will be able to close the session by 12:30 as per the scheduled timings. So here, attainment of the POs and PSOs. See, again there is one misunderstanding many of the places. जो भी हमें PO का calculation करना है attainment का, so only examinations we are considering. See, there are total 11 program outcomes for a pharmacy program. I will be discussing here regarding only pharmacy because I think most of the participants are from pharmacy colleges, as the program is hosted by one of the pharmacy college only. So we will be discussing about B pharmacy program. So यहाँ पे जो हमारे 11 प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स है बी फार्मेसी के, लाइक फार्मेसी नॉलेज, प्लानिंग एबिलिटी, communication skills, leadership skills, pharmaceutical ethics, lifelong learning, environment, community, etc. etc. अभी अगर हम लोग 11 POs को डिवाइड करेंगे in two category. The first one is a disciplinary PO and second one is the professional PO. What is the difference in this disciplinary and professional? The difference is that for achievement of this disciplinary PO, जैसे फार्मेसी नॉलेज हो गया, बेस्ड ऑन सिलेबस वी कैन अचीव इट. 4 साल स्टूडेंट पढ़ेगा, अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट्स रहेंगे, नॉलेज मिलेगा, फार्मेसी नॉलेज उसके पास आ जाएगा. सब्जेक्ट के बेसिस पे हो सकता है, नो डाउट एट ऑल. व्हाट अबाउट प्रोफेशनल पीओ? व्हाट अबाउट लीडरशिप स्किल, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल, फार्मास्यूटिकल एथिक्स, लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग? आई डू अग्री. फार्मास्यूटिक्स एथिक्स के लिए हमारे पास फार्मास्यूटिकल जूरिस्प्रूडेंस नाम का सब्जेक्ट रहेगा. कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स के लिए फर्स्ट ईयर में कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स रहेगा. लीडरशिप स्किल्स के लिए फार्मास्यूटिकल मैनेजमेंट नाम का एक सब्जेक्ट रहेगा. बट अगर उसका परसेंटेज कंसीडर करेंगे वो बहुत कम है. एक फर्स्ट ईयर का एक अकेला एक सेमेस्टर का सब्जेक्ट कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स के बारे में नॉलेज नहीं दे सकता है. एंड दैट इज द रीजन फॉर अटेनमेंट ऑफ दिस पीओज एंड पीएसओज हम लोगों ने सिर्फ सिलेबस एंड सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं रहना चाहिए. rather it is not recommended in any of the documents which are released by the accreditation body. So in this case we have to consider the other aspects like projects, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, etc. etc. अब एक एग्जांपल कंसीडर करेंगे. हम लोग एक सॉफ्ट स्किल, काफी सारे कॉलेजेस काफी सारे सॉफ्ट स्किल डेवलपमेंट के प्रोग्राम्स बच्चों के लिए लेते हैं. What type of program outcome students can achieve by attaining this soft skill development program? They can achieve communication skill, they can achieve leadership skill, lifelong learning, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. सो यहाँ पे एक प्रोग्राम कंडक्ट करके we will be able to calculate the attainment of the POs like this leadership skill, communication skills through that activity, and that is the reason every single activity should be drafted and should be documented whenever it is happening in the institute. It might be online, offline, जहाँ भी हो, जैसे भी हो, but नहीं होती है. एंड जब हम लोग एक्रेडिटेशन के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं तब 2016-17 की जो एक्टिविटीज है उसके डॉक्यूमेंट्स हमें निकाल के फिर unnecessarily we have to collect some, like we have to produce some like the documents which are actually not required. So this is the thing. The reason behind discussing all this is that the attainment of the POs and PSOs is not only depending on examination, it is depending on the co-curricular and extracurricular activities also. Okay, fine. And इसी के लिए there is another point, that is the indirect attainment of these POs and PSOs, जो हमें अलग अलग स्टेकहोल्डर जो है, एम्प्लॉयर्स हो गए, एग्जिट स्टूडेंट सर्वे हो गया, एलुमनाई सर्वे हो गया, एक्टिविटीज हो गई, जहां से हम लोग इसको अचीव कर सकते हैं. एक वेरी सिंपल फंडामेंटल दैट शुड बी अप्लाइड. काफी सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ऐसे देखे हैं कि जहाँ पे काफी स्ट्रिक्ट रहता है कि अगर कोई स्टूडेंट की एक्टिविटी हो रही है, it is compulsory for them that before leaving the premises, before leaving the session, they should submit the feedback. अगर उस एक्टिविटी का फीडबैक हम लोग उसी दिन को ड्राफ्ट करते हैं, there is no need to again repeat the same process in the future. सो वहीं पे हमारे कैलकुलेशंस हो जाएंगे, पीओस के अटेंडमेंट निकल आएंगे, पीएसओस के अटेंडमेंट निकल आएंगे, हमारा डॉक्यूमेंटेशन फिनिश हो जाएगा. अगर ये रेगुलर होता है, इट्स वेरी सिंपल थिंग. अगर ये रेगुलर नहीं होता है तो यही कंपाइल होके 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 फिर एक बहुत बड़ी एक्टिविटी बन जाती है, एंड देन वी नीड टू डेडिकेट अ लॉट टाइम व्हिच इज मच मोर देन रिक्वायर्ड और एक्सपेक्टेड एट एक्चुअल. फाइन. सो ये आपके सर्वेज हो गए, employer, exit student, alumni, activity. Now what I will do, I will just go through the actual ICT tool within 10 minutes, and then we may open the session for question and answer, and we can discuss the various queries or suggestions might be there regarding the event. Okay. Just allow me a moment. I hope the screen is visible to all. Fine. I have shared a new screen now here for the tool. Okay. इसमें से might be some few participants जिन्होंने already इसको explore किया है, might be some few participants जिनके लिए नया हो. Fine. We'll try to summarize everything in not more than 10 minutes. So जैसे यहाँ पे हम लोग देख सकते हैं, एक OB नाम का एक dedicated option रहेगा, outcome based education. नाउ जो भी चीजें अभी हमने ओवरऑल स्लाइड्स पे डिस्कस की, हाउ इट विल बी पॉसिबल टू अचीव एंड ड्राफ्ट एंड डॉक्यूमेंट थ्रू सॉफ्टवेयर, दैट आई विल जस्ट ट्राई टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेट. जैसे हम लोगों ने सीओस के बारे में देखा कि कोर्स आउटकम के स्टेटमेंट्स रहते हैं. कोर्स आउटकम के स्टेटमेंट्स हम लोग जब भी डिफाइन करते हैं, एट दैट टाइम देयर शुड बी इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ दोज पर्टिकुलर कॉग्निटिव लेवल्स, नॉलेज कैटेगरीज, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. अभी यहाँ पे हम लोग देखेंगे. जस्ट आई विल मेंशन द कोर्स आउटकम आईडी, द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द सीओ, एंड हियर the statements of the POs and PSOs will be readily available. Just हमें select करना है which PO and PSO is getting supported with that statement of the CO, followed by these are the cognitive levels which we discuss. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate and create. जैसे हम लोग इसको डॉक्यूमेंट यहाँ से कर देते हैं, आफ्टर दैट जो हमें डिजायर्ड मैपिंग का जो रिपोर्ट एक्सपेक्टेड रहता है, दिस विल बी देयर अवेलेबल विद इन अ क्लिक. सो these are like if I will consider CO's course outcome statements, this is what the desired level mapping, expected mapping, and this is a graphical presentation. That's it. So chalo, this is what regarding COs which we discuss as part of this OBE, which would be possible. Moving ahead, the next thing, like we discussed regarding the various feedbacks, indirect outcome attainment, जो हम लोग students के लिए conduct करते हैं for various surveys which are there. So if you would like to conduct this through any of the media, so there are like other channels also available which are assisting for conducting this feedback. Okay, just allow me a moment. Okay, so now see here, other different stakeholders. You might involve students, teaching faculties, non-teaching faculties, alumni, parents, or employer. Okay, so suppose if you have conducted the feedback from the students, okay, for any of the, like it might be course feedback, faculty feedback, infrastructure, any of the activity which was there. So once they will submit the feedback from their side, we should be ready with its analysis, that how this outcome attainment is getting calculated based on this particular feedback or based on this particular survey which is there. Okay, so now see here, this is what the analysis would be available. These are what the responses, and if I will scroll it down, I will be able to get the report for this overall outcome attainment. Likewise, see, these are what the POs and PSOs, and this is how the attainment is being achieved. No need to perform any type of manual work. Once you will feed the question, those will be submitted digitally, and this is what overall calculation will be available. You know, there are certain simple calculations which are there, which we also submitted to various accreditation bodies. अगर आप एक academic year में पूरे साल feedback ही conduct करते हो, you might have to consume 30 to 40,000 pages अगर आप on paper जाते हो. एंड वही चीज अगर हम लोग डिजिटली वर्कआउट करेंगे, वी मे सेव दिस 30 to 40,000 पेजेस इन वन सिंगल एकेडमिक ईयर. दिस इज व्हाट द एडवांटेज. फाइन, दैट्स इट. सो मूविंग अहेड, ये तो फीडबैक का हो गया. वी डिस्कस अबाउट द एग्जामिनेशंस. उसके जो भी क्वेश्चन पेपर हमें डिजाइन करने होते हैं, उसके जो भी रिपोर्ट्स हमें निकालने हैं, जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया था लाइक रिगार्डिंग क्वालिटी ऑफ क्वेश्चन पेपर, क्वालिटी ऑफ क्वेश्चन पेपर बेस्ड ऑन द ब्लूम्स लेवल. ओके, जस्ट अलाउ मी अ मोमेंट. Now see here, we have designed one question paper, and once we will design the question paper, the analysis will be available here in the system. Okay, this is what the question paper questions along with the blooms, the COs, and the indicators, as well as its quality. If you would like to evaluate, now this is the quality based on the blooms level, based on the COs, based on the indicators, etc. etc. So this is how we can reduce the time span, we can increase the accuracy, precision, and everything regarding, like, so similarly, it might be examinations, it might be feedback, it might be rubrics, academic planning, outcome attainment, internal quality assurance cell reports, IQAC cell reports, etc. etc. Everything we can capture, document, and summarize as required by these various bodies. Fine. This is what, like, overall I wanted to convey through this presentation. I hope my message was clear and I was able to explain the things which are there regarding this outcome based education. Now I would like to request participants, if they have any query, so they can unmute themselves, and would like to request host also uh, to coordinate for the further process. Yes.
Dear participants, this session is open for question and answer.
Okay, so the message is there in the chat box. The filling this Google form will be considered as attendance for the session, and link will be open till 2 p.m. So you need to follow this particular link, and it will be valid till 2 p.m. today regarding feedback and everything. Yes, for attendance, right?
Any question from participants?
I think the session was very clear. So
Okay.
so
We are really thankful to Mr. Abhijit sir for an enlightening presentation. Thank you, sir, for giving your valuable time. Now, dear participant, please fill the feedback form from link given in the chat section. Herewith, I declare that this session is closed. Join us the next session at 2 p.m.
okay, there are certain questions regarding cost and annual charges. Would like to request they can communicate, and not only regarding costing, if they have any query regarding the OBE. So I'm just mentioning the contact number in the chat box as well as the email ID. So the participants can get in touch on that particular email ID as well as the contact number. So it's 96239 64758, and the email ID is very simple, info@vmedolife.com. That's it. Okay, fine. So shall we conclude, Dr. Nilesh sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. So thank you so much. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to join the session to present the concepts of this outcome-based education. Thanks to Principal Sir, the organizing committee, and all respected staff faculty members from IPER Varda. Thanks to all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.